It's 3 a.m. You're lying in bed. Everything is fine. And then your brain says, hey, remember that thing you said in 2014? And it's not even a big thing. It's not a real mistake. It's the time you said you too to a waiter who told you to enjoy your meal 11 years ago. And your entire body is now curling in on itself. Everyone does this. Nobody talks about it. And it turns out there's a genuinely good reason your brain does it. And a specific reason it does it at 3 a.m. Here's the first strange thing. Your brain has a filing system for memory, and it's ruthless. You've forgotten most of your life. Entire months are gone. What you had for lunch last Tuesday gone. But saying you too to a waiter in 2014? Perfectly preserved. Full resolution. Director's cut. The reason is emotion. Memories tagged with strong emotion get flagged for retention. Your amygdala essentially tells your hippocampus, save this one. It matters. The system is built to make sure you never forget genuine danger. Social embarrassment just happens to trip the same wire. But that doesn't explain the timing. Why 3 a.m.? Why not 3 p.m.? During the day, your brain is busy. Work, conversations, traffic, decisions, your phone. There's a constant stream of input and your attention is occupied. At 3 a.m., there is nothing. No input, no task, no distraction. And your brain does not do nothing. It has never once done nothing. When you stop giving your brain a task, it switches to something called the default mode network. This is the daydreaming, mind-wandering, self-reflecting state. And a big part of what it does is social processing, reviewing your relationships, your standing, your past interactions. It's not malfunctioning at 3 a.m. It's doing its job. You just gave it nothing else to do. Now the important part. Why does it pick social embarrassment specifically? Because for most of human history, your survival depended entirely on your group accepting you. Being cast out wasn't humiliating. It was fatal. There was no living alone on the savannah. Your reputation was not vanity. It was infrastructure. So your brain evolved a social threat detector. And like any alarm system built for a life or death problem, it is deliberately oversensitive. It would rather flag 100 harmless moments than miss the one that gets you exiled. Saying you too to a waiter is a false positive. But the system doesn't know that. It never learned the difference, because the cost of a false alarm is a bad night, and the cost of a miss used to be death. And here's the cruel design flaw. A real threat can be dealt with. You run, you fight, you fix it, the alarm switches off. A social memory from 2014 cannot be dealt with. There is no action available. So the alarm just keeps going. Your brain is presenting you a problem and demanding a solution that does not exist. Now here's the thing that should help and somehow never does. The waiter does not remember. The waiter has served roughly 40,000 people since then. You are not in there. Nobody involved in your worst cringe memory has thought about it once. You are the only person on earth who has access to this footage, and you have watched it 400 times. Psychologists call this the spotlight effect, the systematic overestimation of how much other people notice you. In one study, participants were asked to wear an embarrassing t-shirt into a room and then guess how many people had noticed. They guessed roughly double the real number. We are all walking around convinced we're being watched by an audience that is, in fact, also lying awake at 3 a.m. thinking about their own waiter. But knowing all that doesn't stop it. You can understand every word of this video and still be curled up at 3 a.m. tonight. So the real question isn't why it happens. It's what to actually do about it. And there's one answer that genuinely works. The instinct is to suppress it. Push the memory away. Think about something else. This is the worst possible move. Trying not to think about something requires monitoring whether you're thinking about it, which means thinking about it. You've turned a passing thought into a task, and your brain loves tasks. What actually works is the opposite. Give your brain something to do. The default mode network switches off the moment you hand it a real task. Not your phone. The light and the input make it worse. Something mundane and absorbing. Count backwards from 307s. Mentally walk through every room of a house you lived in as a kid. Boring, structured, and just demanding enough that there's no spare capacity left to run the waiter footage. And the second thing, reframe what's happening. That 3 a.m. cringe isn't evidence that you're bad at being a person. It's the opposite. It's a system that only exists in animals that care intensely about other animals. You get the 3 a.m. spiral because you're wired to care whether you hurt someone. People who genuinely don't care about that don't lie awake. Be very glad you're not one of them. So why does your brain replay embarrassing moments at 3 a.m.? Because it's quiet, because your brain hates quiet, and because 30,000 years ago, being liked was survival. The alarm is old, oversensitive, and it fires at nothing. But it fires because you're the kind of creature that would rather be haunted by a small unkindness than commit a large one. So tonight, when it starts, 300, 293, 286. And if you're watching this at 3 a.m. right now, put the phone down. That's the actual problem. Hit subscribe first, obviously. Then put it down. See you next time.